Our hymn of the day for the 22nd Sunday after Pentecost is Praise the One Who Breaks the Darkness. Text is by Rusty Edwards, and the tune is Nettleton from a repository of sacred music of 1813 by John Wyeth, who was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1770 and apprenticed as a printer. At 21, he became a manager of a printing company in Santo Domingo. When the Haitian Revolution of 1791 broke out, he barely escaped with his life, finally settling down back in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Here, he became involved in the publishing business and co-owned a newspaper. A year later, George Washington made him Postmaster General of the United States. In 1813, he printed Wyeth's Repository of Sacred Music, marking an important change in music publishing. It included American folk tunes. Wyeth had no musical training, but he was a shrewd businessman, capitalizing on the emerging music market for printed sacred music. He even printed tune books to attract a particular audience. For example, this 1818 book, Chorale Harmonie Kirchenmelodien, was written for German Lutherans. The tune Nettleton, with the words, "Come thou font of every blessing," first appears in the second repository. Now, of course, it's ubiquitous in hymnals, 397 at last count, including our own ELW 807. Rusty Edwards put new words to this tune. We know Rusty, our poet, from his beautiful hymn, Loving Spirit, one of our favorites. I sought him out and received his permission to compose a setting of Loving Spirit, which will hopefully be published before the apocalypse. I came across the video you're about to see about Rusty celebrating the Lutheran Social Services of Georgia, naming him a hero of hope, healing, and strength in 2013.
Compassion, collaboration, music. These words symbolize the ministry of the Reverend Dr. Rusty Edwards. With roots deep in the Midwest, Rusty grew up in Dixon, Illinois. Music came first. He was in a piano competition at Chicago's McCormick Place at the age of 7, and his first song was sung at an assembly in the 3rd grade. As much as he loved music, he wasn't sure whether his calling was ministry or dentistry. And as often happens with questions like this, he decided to major in education. He then took his newly minted teaching degree and joined a rock band. Rusty was a member of Boo Radley until disco killed rock in the late 70s. It was towards the end of his band years that he began his journey back to faith, pondering if his calling now was teaching or ministry. First he taught to recuperate from years on the road with the band, and then his journey took him to Luther Seminary, where he earned his master's in divinity. Rusty has been an ordained pastor for 28 years and is in his 16th year as senior pastor at Christ Lutheran Church in Marietta, Georgia. His church has doubled in size since his arrival, in part because of his belief that all means all, and the church welcomes everyone. Before coming to Georgia, Rusty served at Gloria Dei Lutheran Church in Rockford, Illinois, where he co-founded the Luther Academy, now Rockford Lutheran Academy, an ELCA LCMS K-6 school, which celebrated 20 years of operation on August 25th this year. A school that made grace and unconditional love operating principles rather than just words. Although he was no longer in a band, music continued as a passion. 31 different hymns by Rusty appear in hymn books used by at least 36 denominations in Australia, Canada, China, England, Japan, New Zealand, Scotland, and the US. 7 books of his songs have been published in the US and Brazil, and he has shared these songs as visiting fellow at Oxford, at Yale and Africa University, and the Russia United Methodist Seminary in Moscow. Even though he can write both words and music, he rarely writes alone. Part of the joy of writing for him is working together with others, and as he said, he always learns something from everyone. His newest book has just been published, Uncommon Mercy, Songs from a Dozen Lands. As the title suggests, there are co-writers from 12 different countries. He especially loves seeing what someone composes for his words. When he has traveled to places around the world, each experience happened because he had worked together with someone in that place. Rusty's songs have been sung on every continent, including Antarctica. He has written lyrics for many composers, including jazz legends Dave Brubeck, Chick Corea, and Peter Erskine. Smoke of a Thousand Campfires, co-written with Bill Gantz, is a top 10 Western hit and has been performed by the Tucson Symphony Orchestra. Rusty also sang on a Grammy-nominated album with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Robert Shaw. Rusty models a servanthood heart with his time by volunteering with Habitat for Humanity and by serving meals to hungry people at Must Ministries every month for 15 years. He is a sponsor of the visit of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama at Emory University. And when 40,000 kids from across the U.S. come to town, then collaboration is not just a good idea, it's an absolute necessity. As the volunteer manager for the 2003 ELCA National Youth Gathering in Atlanta, Rusty worked with hundreds of volunteers to ensure that this triennial event went off without a hitch. And thanks to Rusty, Lutheran Services of Georgia was the recipient of local outreach gifts, which resulted in a combined donation of more than $27,000 in gift cards for the children served by LSG's programs. Rusty and his wife Lori are the parents of Benjamin and Ian. He is a Founders Society member of the Allman Brothers Band Museum at the Big House in Macon, Georgia, which has become his other family. Compassion, collaboration, music. Lutheran Services of Georgia is proud to honor the Reverend Dr. Rusty Edwards as a hero of hope, healing, and strength.
Praise the one who breaks the darkness with the liberating light. Praise the one who frees the prisoners, turning blindness into sight. Praise the one who preached the gospel, healing every dread disease, calming storms and feeding thousands with the very bread of peace. Praise the one who blessed the children with a strong yet gentle word. Praise the one who drove out demons with a piercing two-edged sword. Praise the one who brings cool water to the desert's burning sand. From the well comes living water, quenching thirst in every land. Praise the one true love incarnate, Christ who suffered in our place. Jesus died and rose for many, that we may know God by grace. Let us sing for joy and gladness, seeing what our God has done. Praise the one redeeming glory, praise the one